All right, Ben Damon, we're here today at Barry Michael's book launch. As someone who's heavily involved in Australian boxing, what has Barry Michael's contribution been to boxing here in Australia?
Yeah, it's been enormous. He's been such a constant presence since the beginning of his active boxing career, and obviously as a commentator ever since. I remember listening to him as the voice of Anthony Mundine's fights alongside a lead commentator for years, and he's just been a constant through my journey in boxing. And he's such a lovely dude as well. Like I've been extremely fortunate to have come through in the boxing media with Barry always there, and we've got along very well. We've had a lot of really fun nights here in Australia and around the world. So being here and seeing the respect of the fellow champions and of the boxing community and of the general public as well is really, really nice for someone like Barry, who had so many wars, so many incredible fights over such an illustrious career, and has done so much. So yeah, I think it's a really nice day. It's like Melbourne's been behaving for us today, which is really good, and all the legends and all the people here. It's really good, and I know Barry. It certainly means a lot to him.
We saw Cherneka Johnson this morning become the first Australian undisputed champion in the four-belt era. What did you make of that fight, and what does that mean for women's boxing in Australia?
It's enormous. Yeah, she did great. She completely dominated the fight, dropped her opponent. The referee pulled her out at the end of, I think it was round 8. A bit of controversy around the stoppage, but I don't think that there could be any argument that her opponent was a chance of coming back and winning that fight. So probably the path to victory had eroded and disappeared, so whatever. Regardless, a brilliant victory, a superstar performance really on the big stage. A pity she wasn't on the main show, and I don't know, I haven't had a chance to see yet whether she got the $250,000 bonus that was available to the fighter of the night, because certainly she was right in the mix after what she did. But yeah, it's brilliant. Such a great performance. She's got a tough story, being born in New Zealand and being and growing up here in Australia, and all the other elements around her life. So to see her become undisputed on an historic female boxing card like that is just brilliant. And in terms of what it means, it'd be great if we could have Shenica Johnson and Ebony Bridges, who's just signed with MVP, in an all-Australian, New Zealand undisputed fight, perhaps in Australia or perhaps somewhere else that MVP want to put on a show. Really exciting for Australian female boxing and for female boxing in general. A card like that, who would have thought this was plausible even 10 years ago? So things have really evolved, and Shenica is now one of the true stars of the show.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned Ebony Bridges, because that would be an amazing fight for Australian boxing, Australian women's boxing in particular. As an analyst, how would you see that fight going?
Well, I think they're really good friends, so that's obviously an issue. But I would imagine that the two of them, with the people around them as well, would be savvy enough to make that happen if it needed to happen. Ebony's a genius at marketing herself and has shown that for many years. Shenica, she has become that as well. So, in terms of, it's difficult because Ebony's just had a child, which is, obviously very exciting, and huge congratulations to her and to Kell Brook. And does that mean that she comes in an outsider in a return? Would she prefer another fight on the way back? I don't really know the physiology of all of that. But if you could take that out of the mix, which you obviously can't, then it's a really even fight. It's a really exciting fight too. The styles, and they're going to go forward. They're going to throw punches. I just would love to see it. I know Ebony is coming back. She's on her path to return. I don't know when she wants to get back in the ring, but if that could be next for Shenica, I don't know if there is a mandatory obligation if they're going to try and take away one or some of those belts. I think it probably helps that two of them were vacant titles. But I don't know if it's possible, but if it is, it would be great to see it.
Definitely, and in a couple of weeks we got the rematch, Tszyu, Sebastian Fundora. There's questions everyone's been asking, has he recovered mentally? Not just from the first fight, but the Murtazalia fight afterwards. He's had the one fight back against Joey Spencer. How much do you think, Tim, like from being around him and from observing, how much do you think that will play on his mind going into this rematch?
Yeah, he seems great. He seems fine. And yeah, the question mark I think really is how much did the Bakram Murtazalia fight take out of him? How will that impact him going forward? I don't think anyone knows, including Tim. I think the Joey Spencer fight, he was brilliant. But it was flattering in a way because Joey didn't throw a lot of punches and Tim steamrolled him. He looked great. So the world went, oh, he's back. I would imagine there are some that go, oh yeah, but what if he gets hit? So that'll be the test. If Fundora hits him with something big early, and maybe Fundora doesn't, because maybe Fundora thinks the way that he can win this fight is what he did in the bloody mess last time and just keeps it long and jabs and jabs and jabs. But if he does hit him with something big, how does Tszyu react? I think that's going to be the question mark. That's what everyone's going to be sort of waiting for to see. I think if Fundora does try and just keep him on the end of a jab and Tim doesn't have blood in his eyes like he did last time, Tim will win. I think that he had him worked out after a couple of rounds last time. And I think if that's the pattern, Tim's fine in this fight. But if he takes it to Tim and he hits him with some good shots, that's when we'll get to see what all of that has done to Tszyu and what version of Tszyu we have left. So it's a really intriguing fight. I agree with the bookmakers who have Tszyu a narrow favourite, but as we saw the first time, anything can happen, and probably with these two it will.
Yeah, like I guess for Tim, because you saw in the first couple of rounds how dominant he was, and like one question mark at least for me is, how hesitant will he be? You know, will he try and come out and be assertive, or will he try and be a bit more cautious himself? And then that can in turn play. Fundora, once he becomes champion, he's had a defense in between. He's getting more and more confident, more and more sure of himself. So yeah, do you think that's key in the first couple of rounds to see how Tim comes out?
Well, are you speculating that maybe because he ran into the elbow, that he won't want to go near sharp things like that again? Like I would be surprised if that's part of his thought process, because like it was a freak thing. Like, how often do you headbutt someone in the elbow and get sliced like that? I don't think I've ever seen it before. Like maybe when someone was bringing an elbow up, but not like when you were headbutting them in the elbow. So it was a freak accident. It was an extraordinary amount of blood, and he could not see early in rounds after that. Ultimately, he should have been pulled out, clearly. But I think, and I know that he's watched it, I've spent a lot of time with him analysing, where he appears to be at, where he thinks he's at. And I know he's watched the fight. I know he's had a really good look at how things happened, and I would be really surprised if that element does play a part here. I think he's going to fight his fight. I think he's going to be aggressive. I think he's going to try and continue on from what happened in those first couple of rounds before that all happened. And if he were able to do that, then he's in a really good position to win this fight. But it is a really tricky fight because that dude is a freak of nature. You and I have been around him previously. We covered him as early as his fight with Australia's Daniel Lewis over there on that Fury and Wilder undercard. He is he's gargantuan. He should not physically be able to compete in this weight class and to do the things he does. But he does, and he's got an edge to him now, and he's a champion, so he will have improved. It's a fascinating fight. I'm really looking forward to it.
What do you make of Fundora telling Sean Porter on Main Event that Tszyu's vision wasn't impaired at all?
Yeah, he said a lot of things like that. He also said elsewhere that he didn't have a broken nose and he didn't have what was accepted to be the damage out of that fight. That a lot of those things are surprising. I think maybe the business of boxing has got to him a little bit because, as you know, like, he's the nicest dude. He's such a lovely guy. We had a really good conversation with him about his love of the crocodile hunter. And you know, he's a family guy. He's got his sister around who's a superstar as well, and all of that. And we've seen all the vision from their ranch or whatever it is. Like, he's a really good guy, but that edge seems to have changed. I think he's angry. He's ready to evolve. So I think, yeah, it's a different Sebastian Fundora this time. It's not that nice guy who's going in there and, you know, fighting above his station to some extent. He is now a legitimate, hardcore world champion who's ready to get bloody and rough and messy. So that's an even harder prospect for Tszyu.
Yeah, well, we're all in for a treat for this rematch. You're heading over to watch it, so all the best with that, and
Thank you.
enjoy it.
Yeah, can't wait. Thanks so much, Mickey. Always good to see you, mate. Cheers.
Likewise.